So I got a phone call from our client who basically let us know that we were fired. And this wasn't the first time that we dropped a ball with this client. In fact, that year we probably spent 1,500 hours, unbillable man hours, trying to save this account. And that resulted in taking resources away from serving other clients. Our customer service levels dropped. We lost a couple other clients. It put Amnet, honestly, we were in a financial tailspin. That phone call was a wake-up call. We deserved to lose our business, and I was sick about it. Your company has a culture. Were you intentional about it, or did it just happen? For Amnet up until 2012, it just happened. We hired people based on resumes mostly. I didn't try to build a bad culture, I just didn't know what to do. Business for me was about adding clients, providing good service, adding more team, lather, rinse, repeat. I now know that if you're not intentional about your culture, you'll probably get a bad one. So I was the head of a fish called Amnet. You may have heard the Italian proverb, the fish stinks from its head. Well, I was determined to stop the rotting. If your company culture sucks, and it's your company, I got bad news for you. It's your fault. Today I intend to convince you to be intentional about your culture and to give you some ideas and some tools that you can take back and implement right away. If I were to do that today, would that make our time together worthwhile? Well, culture creates a competitive differentiator, not only for getting talent, but also customers. So your strategies can be copied, but no one can copy your culture. And your culture will have a significant impact on your bottom line. And I'm here to convince you today that an engaged culture is more efficient than strategy. According to a 2017 Gallup report, the top 25% of engaged employee companies outperform the bottom 25% in the following ways. 41% lower absenteeism, 24% lower turnover, 17% higher productivity, and 20% higher sales. Now, what one strategy could you employ that could get those kind of results for your organization? Probably none. So come back with me to 2012 and Amnet's decision to get intentional about culture and that wake-up call. So our team wasn't incompetent, they were just incompatible. So in 2012, on a Saturday, we got our team together over at Olive Branch on Tejon. Who remembers Olive Branch? Great breakfast, right? I don't know what happened there. Anyhow, I got them together and I asked them, what do they want our company culture to be? And we did some brainstorming and they gave me some ideas, and some of the words that they said were symphonic, accountable, and fun. And then I asked them to describe what our company culture currently was to them. And they said, poor communication, dropped balls, finger pointing, and frantic. The word frantic really hit me hard because I created this, right? This is my company. My ignorance, my lack of leadership, my lack of intentionality created a workplace that was frantic. Who wants to spend 40 hours a week in a place that's frantic? Certainly not me. So fast forward with me to 2019. Today, Amnet's recognized as one of the best places to work, not only in Colorado Springs, but in the state of Colorado. We were even selected last year as a Colorado company to watch. 1,100 companies applied for that award. They award it to 50. So we were in the top 5% of the companies who actually submitted for this award. Who here knows what Glassdoor is? Okay, I see some hands not raised. Glassdoor is employees leaving reviews for your business as far as what your company is like as a place to work. The average top companies on Glassdoor, the average score is a 4.3. And the average across Glassdoor as a whole is 3.3. Amnet score is a 4.7. Do you know what your score is? You should. Because it's a tight labor market and the top talent are checking your company out. They're checking them out before they even send you their resume. And if you're not mindful of this, it's costing you top talent. So this story isn't about how great Amnet is or how brilliant I am, because frankly, I've got a lot to learn. As far as helping companies leverage technology to be more prosperous in their business, more stable, secure, backed up, yeah, we got that. As far as the rest of life and business, I'm very much still a student. Company culture, we've made leaps forward from where we were. But it's a journey. It's not something you arrive at and cross the finish line and say, okay, we don't have to worry about this one anymore. That's a checkbox. You're going to have progress and you'll have setbacks. So remember, this is a journey. So according to Gallup, the Gallup organization does a global employee engagement survey called the Q12. And in the United States, on average, about 30% of your employees are engaged, about half are disengaged. And shockingly, 2 out of 10 are actively disengaged. That means they are coming to work to undermine the goals of the company. And it's usually because they hate their boss. So what are the Q12 questions, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Do you know what's expected of you at work? Do you have the materials and equipment you need to do your work right? Do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? Have you received recognition in the last 7 days? Does your supervisor care about you as a person? Does someone encourage your development? Do your opinions seem to count? Does the mission of the company make you feel your job is important? Are your coworkers committed to quality work? Do you have a best friend at work? Has someone talked to you about your progress in the last 6 months? And have you had opportunities over the last year to learn and grow? Who here would score their company 12 out of 12? If so, you're excused. If not, you're in the right room. Your company culture is a recipe. The ingredients in your culture are values, traditions, but mostly your people. I like to think of Amnet as like a beef stew. You've got the beef, but you've got potatoes, tomatoes, green beans, onions. They all work together to form a great dish. Now, you don't have to have everybody be the same in your company. I mean, if I had all carrots, we'd just end up with carrot soup. What good is that? But just because somebody isn't a good ingredient in your recipe doesn't make them a bad ingredient. For instance, chocolate chips are delicious, right? I'm not going to hire a chocolate chip with a great resume for my beef stew. The results could be catastrophic. And frankly, that chocolate chip isn't going to be successful in my beef stew environment. This chocolate chip needs to find a brownie, a cookie, an ice cream recipe culture to be a part of. Only there will they be able to fulfill their potential. So watch out for that trap of finding that really great resume and thinking, oh, we can make an exception this time. I've done that. And it hurt. That whole one bad apple can spoil the barrel. I had one of those resumes. I had a chocolate chip cookie that ended up turning 2 or 3 of my other employees into actively disengaged. Don't do it. So I believe that positive culture begins with engagement. We have a staff meeting on Monday mornings, 7:30. I am not a morning person. I am certainly not at my best on a Monday at 7:30. But we start our staff meetings tossing a ball like this around. And there's questions on here. To-do list item that most reflects you. Weird. I've not had that one before. I would say I've got this home automation project. I'm building out home automation stuff. I love gadgets. Gadgets are great. I'm a computer geek too, so it's a good fit for me. So kind of like that, every Monday morning, this exercise results in laughter. What else does it result in though? Relationship. We're getting to know each other better. And the fact that that somebody's about to throw a brightly colored ball at you means you're kind of leaning in, right? You're paying more attention. And it's fun. And then on Fridays, we end the week with margaritas. At 3:30 on Fridays, at Amnet, the phones tend to go silent. People hold those support calls for Monday morning. And because people were going back to their desk, my assistant, Stephanie, one Friday said, here's your margarita and stay put, we're playing Pictionary. So the team was there, we split up into two teams and we played Pictionary. And it was a hit. And so now every Friday, along with our margaritas, we play a game together. So we start the week having fun, getting to know each other better, and we end the week kind of the same way. We've actually even gotten to the point that now, if you're a client of ours, we're like, come on over on Friday at 3:30. Have a margarita, get to meet some of the faces that are at the end of that phone when you call for help with your computer issues. And so they come in and it adds kind of a new ingredient to the recipe for the game, right? Keeps it fresh, mixes it up. All right, so I want to show of hands, who throws going away parties when somebody leaves your company? Stop it! I will tell you, my dad would say, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. We celebrate people's first day. Now, how many of you remember a first day of work where you show up and they're like, okay, here's your paperwork. I need you to fill out this W-4, and here's the employee handbook. I need you to sign off that you received it. I need your passport or your driver's license or social security card. And here, sit in front of this screen. You're going to spend the day training. Great first day. No. So we start with a big old welcome banner. We got two of those guys in the room here, Nate and Samuel. This is a social media opportunity. You let the world know that you've grown, that you've added somebody, and here's some personality. The Amnet team is thrilled to announce our newest addition. Nate is joining us as a sales development representative, and we can't wait to see how he helps grow our business. But you know what else will happen? When you do this, your employees will post about it. Damien on his first day said, my first day in Amnet went well. My desk had a big welcome banner hung above it and a card signed by all the staff. No place I've worked has done anything like that for me. I'm gonna like it there. How awesome is that for your brand? How hard is that to do? Little intentionality. We also have kudos cards. I will tell you, my team writes each other up for excellent service to customers and excellent service to team. On Monday mornings, at the end of our staff meeting, I read the previous week's kudos. So my people are getting acknowledged. And while acknowledgement for me is great, but when the team is acknowledging each other, it's powerful. They appreciate each other and they appreciate being appreciated. And then the first staff meeting of the month, we put all the previous month's kudos in a bowl. And I pull two out. And we give a $25 Amazon gift card to the giver and receiver of each of those cards. So for $1,200 a year, I'm investing in a culture that recognizes excellence in each other. That's cheap. We have fun at work. We take what we do seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. We have fun outside of work. We have a fun committee, which is a team of employees that doesn't include any owners. And they are empowered to come up with a quarterly activity that we're going to do together. And in the fall, they planned a hike at Palmer Park, followed by a potluck, followed by kickball. When was the last time you played kickball? How cool is that? We went to Whirly Ball, and then for our Christmas party this year, we took a limousine up to Palmer Lake to a place called Pinecrest. We had dinner, drinks, dancing. But I'll tell you what was most memorable for me was the limo ride home. Everybody had a couple of drinks, and we cranked Bohemian Rhapsody on the radio, and everybody was singing along. I see a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche, Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? It was awesome. Everybody was into it. So we ended on a real high note, even those of us who can't sing worth a darn like me. So one of the important things that you might have seen in the Q12, frequent and relevant communication. If you read the book Rockefeller Habits, Scaling Up, anything about Scrum, the book Traction, they all talk about getting together on a regular basis, daily, to update the team about what's going on. So at Amnet at 8:03 every day, my technical team, our service desk, our sysadmins, they all are on a call or in the conference room together. And they talk about one success from yesterday, what your top priority is for today, what are you stuck on? And then often there's a fun question, kind of like you might have on the ball, of what was your favorite band in high school? Or best Christmas present you got as a kid? It keeps it interesting, mixes it up. Now what we found initially was, we had our service manager running those meetings. And so people didn't really get super prepared. They had short kind of blasé answers. So we started rotating the moderator for that meeting. So every 2 weeks, it's your turn to run the meeting. And then in 2 weeks from now, it's gonna be your turn. And because you've experienced being a moderator and having people kind of be flat, you're a little more invested when it's your turn to give an answer. The moderator changes every 2 weeks, and that was something that I would recommend if you're gonna do something like this, incorporate that piece. So we've got our weekly team meeting. I mentioned we start with a ball. We recognize kudos, birthdays, all those kinds of things. We do a monthly one-on-one. Too many employees don't get feedback from their manager until the annual review. And they say, wow, 6 months ago, you did this, and it was stupid. Well, gee, 6 months ago, I could have maybe had a corrective action. Or 6 months ago, you did this and it was really great. Do more of that. Why wait for an annual review to get there? So monthly, we have a coaching session. We talk about how people are performing and make those adjustments much more quickly. So when you have that annual review, they're not surprised by something they did 6 months ago that you've been holding a grudge against them for. I actually have lunch with each of our employees on a quarterly basis. And I ask them about their personal and professional goals. I ask them, what do you think we should start, stop, and keep doing at Amnet? I say on a scale of 1 to 10, how's Amnet for you as a place to work? And if we're not a 10, what can we do better? And would you recommend Amnet to another potential teammate? Who? And there's some action items typically at the end of this meeting. Some of them are for them, some of them are for me. But in 90 days, we're gonna pull out this piece of paper again, and they're gonna be accountable, and so am I. Did I get done the things I said I was gonna do? How are you doing on that goal of buying a house? I know you wanted to get that done this year. I had an employee who told me that was her goal, and she and her fiance were having a hard time putting together enough money for that down payment. So I invested $70 in a Dave Ramsey presentation that's actually tonight at New Life Church. And if she can get her hands around how to manage her finances well enough that she can actually go buy a house, how meaningful is that? How impactful is that for her in her life? How much is she going to remember that gesture? It's certainly worth a whole lot more than the $70 I spent on those tickets. So we do a quarterly financial update. We do an annual team alignment. Prior to the team alignment, we send out a survey of each of our employees. We ask them a bunch of questions about the job satisfaction, things they might recommend we improve, and we use that information to figure out the agenda for our annual team alignment. We do some brainstorming about how we can be more competitive, serve our clients better, make the office more fun next year. We do some goal setting, and everybody's on the same page. And they understand not only what our goals are, but how they impact those goals. They commit to, this year, in order to contribute to these goals, I'm going to do X. And that's written down in that monthly meeting with their manager. Hey, how's that coming? How's that new Microsoft Server 2019 certification coming? How can I help you get that certification? So if you've ever taken a tour of Amnet, I know some of you in here have, when we go upstairs to where the service desk and sysadmins have their cubes, we have superheroes up on the wall. We have Batman over here, and we have Wonder Woman over there. In the conference room, we actually have Captain America. I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. And I got in the habit of saying, as we walked into that room, and this is where we keep the superheroes, up on the walls and in the cubes. And I've kind of just shortened it. And when I walk into that room every day, I make a point of walking in that room every day, and I come in and I say, good morning, superheroes. How are things going? And I'll look at the dashboards. We get dashboards up on the wall, and it shows response time, resolution time. We're tracking customer satisfaction. And it's an opportunity for me to acknowledge, congratulate, appreciate, and relate with my team. We've got our mission and values displayed up in the lobby. They're also read aloud at each of our staff meetings. You won't live them if you don't repeat them. So we discuss and recommit to those at the team alignment. And for those who care, the values of Amnet are relationships, integrity, service excellence, and education and growth. We hire for these traits, and we fire for a lack of them. So in the conference room, we've got Captain America. You notice we upgraded his shield? That's the Amnet logo, by the way. Amnet service is more powerful than vibranium. We recognize new hires. These are Captain's comments, by the way. So when somebody passes a new certification, this one says, Damien passed his Net Plus exam, woohoo. Anniversaries, birthdays. Now for birthdays, I send birthday cards to each of our employees home. Now why do I send it to their house? Anyone? Their spouse and their family see it. Do you think there's a connection between your employees' job satisfaction and what their spouse thinks about your company? It's a nice gesture just to have a handwritten happy birthday from the boss. So we celebrate getting new clients, getting gold comments, customer testimonials, all that. These are little wins that some companies don't even talk about. Hey, we got a customer testimonial. This customer said this great thing about us. Why would you not share that? Invest in your people. There are some people who think, well, if I train my people, they might leave. What's worse? If you don't train them and they stay. Richard Branson says, train people well enough that they can leave, treat them well enough that they don't want to. I firmly believe that. Be a place people are proud to work. Amnet has got lots of accolades. We've worked hard to earn them, but Do you think that there's a sense of pride with our team that we have these accolades? Absolutely. Best IT company, 9 of the last 12 years. I've got 100 competitors. They're really proud of that. Excellence in Customer Service Award. They want it and they want to win it again. How do they do that? More excellent customer service. There's not a reason to go after these awards. No downside whatsoever. Be a place people are proud to work. Do good in the community that we share. So we have a culture of accountability. This is the dashboard that I mentioned where we're tracking response time, resolution time. Spider-Man keeps an eye on those and he pings me if something's out of whack. But as far as this culture of accountability, we talk about mastery of our craft in our mission statement. Not everybody who works at Amnet is in IT, but all of us have a craft, right? So on Monday mornings, when we've got our slideshow going for our staff meeting, we've got a slide that shows which techs are working on which cert and when they expect to get it. But our operations people, what are they doing to master their craft and when are they going to come to a milestone? And the leadership team. Things like going to a peer group. I'm reading this book on culture code. I'm reading this book on the one thing. I'm working on my mastery of my craft to lead this company. And we're very transparent. You got to have that. If you think you can just hold them accountable and not be held accountable yourself, you're not going to get the buy-in. Hold each other to a high standard of excellence. People are afraid that if they demand excellence from their team, their people will leave. It's absolutely true. Your turkeys will leave. If you don't demand excellence, your eagles will leave. Do you want to be a company of turkeys or a company of eagles? So, back to the Q12 here. These are all the things that we've put in place to make sure that we have an answer yes for every one of these categories. This book, The Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni, probably was as impactful for us on our company culture as the Q12. Now, spoiler alert, the gist of it is the ideal team player is someone who's humble, hungry, and smart. Now, humble you get. Hungry is somebody that's got an inner drive to do well, to continue to grow. And then smart is really more about EQ than IQ. It's soft skills. And so if you're looking for somebody who's a fit for your recipe, who's humble, hungry, and smart, you're going to end up with a good team player. So some of the interview questions that help us identify this. Can you tell me about someone who is better than you in an area that really matters to you? What do you think this helps us answer? Humble, right. Same thing with what are some of the most important accomplishments of your career? Are they going to be humble about it? What do you like to do when you're not working? I want to hear that, if I'm hiring a sysadmin, I'd really love to hear, I've got this computer lab set at my house and I'm playing with Raspberry Pi and the next beta version of Office 2030. They're a geek inside and out. What was your work ethic like as a teenager? What do you do that others in your personal life might find annoying? Self-awareness. It's part of that EQ. And then finally, have you ever worked with a difficult colleague or boss? How did you handle that situation? These answers will tell you a lot. So, great culture equals great talent. Not only will you retain your top talent, it'll help you attract your top talent. Leverage it. So at Amnet, when we're hiring, we've got this video that we created that's specifically for recruiting. And when we're hiring, it's up on our website. We share it on social media. And it's going to help us attract talent that's drawn to a culture like ours. This is that video. Hard not to dance. I think one of the things that's special about the culture here is that we try to have fun at work. My name is Trevor Dierdorff. I'm the founder and CEO of Amnet. I've tried to make it a fun work environment because I've got to work here too, and I think that people do better work when they're happy.
What I really love about this company is our culture. It is very team-oriented. We rely on each other. We have constant feedback. We start each week as a team. We sit down and we have some fun. We get geared up for the work to come. And then on Fridays, we finish the week together doing something fun. It's very refreshing, especially in this industry, and I am very glad to be here.
My favorite part is that it's a family business. We also get to have a lot of really great client relationships. I meet with them at least on a quarterly basis, and we talk about how we can solve all of their technology issues. And that's a really great feeling to know that you're helping somebody else grow their business.
I believe that the leadership truly believes in their mission and vision statement. It's like an everyday thing.
I have never worked for a company that has fostered education and growth like this company has.
Small culture, it's very warm and very open here, and it's really great to work both with the clients and with everybody internally. I feel like there's great communication.
I like here because people are great. It's a great atmosphere and a great company.
When I joined the team, it honestly shocked me that everything that Trevor said was true, but beyond that. Truly everyone on this team strives to be the best at what they do, and they know that if they are the best and they provide that service to our customers, that our customers will succeed, and when our customers succeed, we succeed.
I think anybody who wants to look for a new opportunity, this is the best place to go.
I think that our customers sense that when dealing with our technical people over the phone, that they're happy and they enjoy providing great service. And it's why we're in the positive place that we're in today. So who here wants to work at a company like that? Me too. Who thinks there's advantages to doing business with a company like that? Me too. While it was painful losing that client in 2012, Amnet wouldn't have gotten to where we are today if we hadn't. Did I convince you to be intentional about your company culture today? Have I given you some ideas, maybe some tools to get started on it right away? What I would encourage you is don't wait for that wake-up call from that client before you start working on it. You can do this. If you have questions, hit me. Thanks so much.